everyone, how you all doing? I'm going to try the dual record function on this, but I've just got a call out. I'm just leaving one job in Sunderland, Matalan, on Palian's industrial estate, and I've got a call out to Cortonwood, which is the Barnsley area. So what I thought I'd do is I'll try the dual record and I'll talk to you about how I feel that to be a really good teacher in life, you have to be all things to all people at all times, which is really how you sum up Jesus Christ. That's what he was. He was able to talk to people no matter who they were and no matter what intellectual abilities they had. He was able to talk to them on their level. So if he was in the company of non-educated so-called intellectuals who had limited spiritual knowledge, he could adapt his conversation to them. Now, to be a great teacher, spiritual teacher, you need to be able to be adaptable. You need to be able to talk on many levels and plateaus. But there are people that can't do that. They're very one-dimensional. So I was listening to Russell Brand, and don't get me wrong, I'm not criticising Russell. I really like him, and I am subscribed to him, and I do like him a lot. But he was interviewing this American about, the money that the Congress has recently released, the 61 billion. And there was somebody that has a really, really valuable opinion on this, and it was valuable. But Russell spent nearly 5 to 6 to 7 minutes asking question after question after question, and he was using these words, this flowery speech that was unnecessary. What made me laugh was that when the American interviewee finally got to say something, he said, "Which one of those 1,000 questions do you want me to answer?" And then he went into giving a full explanation about this phony war in Ukraine and how President Zelensky would probably literally be out within 60 days because they've lost 600,000 young Ukrainian soldiers. They've been absolutely devastated by the Russians, but America and Great Britain and all their proxies and all the news outlets are not telling us the full story on this. But the truth is that Russia's been doing better than the BBC have been reporting on. A lot better. So this American ex-military intelligent person was giving us the lowdown on this. And when I listened to that particular interview, I thought back about everything that Russell had said previously, and I thought, why did he use that word? What was the application of using such flowery talk that was going above people's heads? I'm not saying that everybody didn't understand his train of thought. Most of them probably did. But there's going to be some, isn't there, that would rather him use simplified talk. And what's wrong with using simplified talk? Jesus Christ did it better than anyone. When he gathered together and he had an audience of listeners, his conversation was tailored to their needs. So he would use common speak that they were used to hearing. So he wouldn't come out with unnecessary words just for the sake of it. I think I've gone wrong here. I don't remember this road, but it looks a bit different. We'll try it. So what I'm saying is that if you're in the company of intellectuals, maybe nuclear scientists, then I suppose you will have to talk their language, if you can. But if you're in the company of your working class, ordinary people, isn't it best to use language that they feel at home with? Otherwise, they're going to feel like you're talking above them. And is this really the way to endear people? Is this the way to build up friendship with people? Imagine doing this as a Jehovah's Witness if you was on the ministry. Well, I think back to my pioneering days in the 80s, and me and this other pioneer we used to learn a different word every day. Sometimes we just use one word and fit it into conversation as many times as possible, and it might be a really long extemporaneous word like aggrandizement, which means prestige and in self-importance. And really, that's what it was all about. As young Jehovah's Witnesses who were pioneering, we were using all this flowery talk for our own aggrandizement, our own self-importance, prestige. And I've gone completely wrong here. I'm gonna have to turn around here. I'm going off to the bloody sea, and I should be cutting inland. Yeah, well, that's what happens when you get involved with a talk. You suddenly stop looking at the road. So what was I saying? Yes, so we're using all this unnecessary talk. Why? Was it going to propel us? Was it going to make us feel that we were superior to a householder? It's stupid. It's immature. And it's what we did. And it's what I'm ashamed of, admitting to you today, you know, why I did it. And it took a very, very humble person to point it out to me. And he did it in an extremely humble way. And he said, have you ever looked at the example of Jesus and how he was able to adapt his conversation to every suitable audience that he had? And I said, yeah. I says he was the Grand Master, wasn't he? He was a unique wordsmith. You know, he could put his words together for the audience that was in front of him at the time. I said there was nobody greater than that. And it was him pointing that out to me that stopped me learning a new word from the dictionary. Because sometimes people used to take the mickey out of me and used to say, Martin, have you swallowed a dictionary? And I thought, yeah, they are, they're taking the mickey. And probably they were justified to do that. Because what is the point of coming out with unnecessary flowery speech if you've lost your audience? If your audience is shut off? And that is what Russell Brand is probably facing. Yes, the man's got a high IQ, probably very good intellectual, above most people, but he's got to realise that he can lose his audience just as quickly as he can build it. He can lose a lot of his audience because they'll shut off, believing that he's talking above their heads. And that's what I wanted to talk to you about today. And at the same time, use the dual camera system. Goodbye.